Then I'm assuming you've heard of like the two powers in heaven motif.
No.
Okay, there's a Jewish historian named Alan Segal. He wrote a book called The Two Powers in Heaven. Okay. In Daniel 7, you'll see a messianic passage there about how God will come down, and you'll see the Son of Man come, riding in the clouds of heaven, and his kingdom will be an everlasting kingdom.
Do you think Daniel thought that the Son of Man was going to be God, since he says that he's riding on a cloud?
This is a really interesting point. And
I don't think that he did, because he was a Jewish writer.
I lean on saying yes, but I don't know if I can say that with like absolute certainty.
The
Is that
prophet
fair?
Daniel was expecting the Messiah to be God.
So let's look at Daniel chapter 7, verse 9. And it says this, and this is Daniel seeing this vision. He says, as I looked, thrones were placed, and the Ancient of Days took his seat. I want you to notice it's not one throne. It's thrones. And you can verify that in your Bible right now if you want to, because I have. So imagine to the Jew to discover more than one throne. I think, like I said, I want to take you back into the time of Jesus. You know, the rabbis are like, what is this? The thrones? I thought Yahweh was all by himself. There's no God but him. And what do you think, Rabbi Akiva? What do you think? You know, and they're talking and arguing. His thrones, why? What was wrong with Daniel? Did he skip with his pen or something? What happened? Doesn't he have spell check? I mean, And it says this in Daniel 7:13, in my vision I looked, and there before me was one like a son of man. Everybody say son of man. Okay. Coming with the clouds of heaven. He approached the Ancient of Days, and was led to his presence. Now I want you to go. We got to break this down. We are rabbis tonight in the first century. Before Jesus even came, we're first century BC, and we're studying these scriptures. We're studying okay, here's the Ancient of Days. That's Yahweh. Who's this other person coming alongside of him? He's like the Son of Man, they say. Who is this? You understand? Like, can you understand? Like, they're wondering, who could this person be? On your page, Daniel Boyarin said 3 things about Daniel 7:13. He said there are 2 thrones. Jewish guy, this is a Jewish guy, 2 thrones. There are 2 divine figures. He says one apparently old and one apparently young. And the young figure is to be the Redeemer and eternal ruler of the world. When Jesus was standing before the Sanhedrin and he was being accused, and they're like, who are you, Jesus? Tell us who you are. And I think it's notable to go back and see what did Jesus respond. So he said, notice that the response of the Jewish leadership was to accuse Jesus of blasphemy. Jewish leaders believed that the title of the Son of Man was as powerful as the title of God. He says, Jesus said, you will see the Son of Man sitting at the right hand of the Mighty One, coming on the clouds of heaven. So Jesus is referring, like, who are you, Jesus? And he's like, I'm the Son of Man, and I'm going to be sitting at the right hand of the Father. And what they say, like, okay, you're not claiming to be Yahweh, you're good, no blasphemy charges here. No. So to the Jewish mindset, tell me if I'm wrong, to the Jewish mindset, if you claimed you were the Son of Man, that was as blasphemous as saying if you were Yahweh himself, right? So we don't have the same idea that the Jewish people had at that time. It says, then the high priest tore his robes, you've uttered blasphemy. They always speak in British for some reason, I think. What further witness do I need? You've heard his blasphemy. So you can see that was his response by Jesus claiming to be the other power of heaven, claiming to be the Son of Man. I never saw that before, all right? But I think it's very significant that we point that out. Anyone declaring themselves to be the Son of Man claimed to be heaven's second power. Notice that this was the response of the high priest. Jesus didn't come claiming to be Yahweh in the flesh, all right? He didn't claim to be Yahweh in the flesh. Jesus is the Son of Yahweh. That's who he is. He's the Son of God, the Son of Yahweh. And Jesus was announcing himself as the Son of Man who sits on the throne of his Father. So, Daniel 7:13 and 14 needs to become a very important verse for us, okay? Especially when talking to the Jewish people. I want you to go back and study that. And remember, this was written, Daniel was written 400 some years prior to Jesus coming. And the Jewish people were reading this. This to the Jewish people was the book of Revelation to them. They're like, this is what's going to happen. And then there's this figure who's showing up.